say, what's that? It's Pat.
That dude, that is incredible. That is incredible. You know, I am I'm a therapist. I'm not licensed yet. That's a challenging thing to get, but I'm very close to that. But I do have a lot of certifications, and I have my PhD, and I used to be a homeless guy and former stand-up comedian, and I am a certified trauma professional. And I bring this up not to bring my accolades, but to say, like, I really appreciate what you're talking about breath work, and because there's a lot of things people can do to work, to feel better, to,
Mhm.
to help themselves, to become better people. And so I think that's really great. And I hope that, you got this thing going, where I hope maybe when you do retire, you try to get into some type of public speaking, or that sort of thing, or hell, do a podcast. Maybe we'll do a podcast. We can't call it Beauty and the Beast, because there's already a Beauty and the Beast with Kendra Lust, and I think she's dating an MMA fighter. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for you out there, and I'm very happy for you. And so now let's get to the silliness. Okay, because this is what I I always have to add silliness into this. So two questions, and then
Sure.
and then at the end, if you want to promote something, you just throw it out there. So the aliens are coming, right? We see them all. You see all these pictures. The Air Force is seeing them, right? So the aliens are coming. They're coming. So now the aliens land. They do this thing. They shut off all the technology. It's my show, so I make the story up. Even the guns aren't working, right? And
All
someone
right.
said to me, well, how is that possible? I said, it's my story. So the guns aren't working. So you can't shoot bullets. So now it's just the aliens. So you know who has to fight the aliens?
Guys like me.
Guys like you, the UFC, Bellator, PFL, Cage Titans. You guys are, you got to do the leg locks and all this stuff, because it's all hand to hand. Who's your one guy to fight their master alien? So they say, listen, we give us our master alien. We'll give you our master alien. Our master alien will then, if you win, we'll leave this planet, never come back. Who's your one fighter to fight that master alien?
Can it be me?
Absolutely. I love the confidence when you guys say you. I've had two people say you. You and Doricus Duplessis said you. Everyone else has said John Jones, Francis Ngannou.
And I'll play along. And if it wasn't me, you're gonna have to look this name up. Chip Maraza Pollard, the Lion Fight World Champion. He fights at 185 and is an absolute force. He's actually got a big title defense coming up in Italy at the end of July.
Okay, that was a mouthful. So what's his nickname? What's his
the surgeon?
That's easier.
Chip the surgeon. And then he's got a hyphenated last name, Maraza Pollard.
Oh, good for you for knowing. But I mean, you've been around fighting for a while, right? So these names are like probably like at this point now, they just flow off your tongue, like, because
right
around them.
Yeah, he's been a teammate for the better part of the last decade, but he made the switch from MMA to Muay Thai, and I think he's on his 8th world title defense at this point.
I'm gonna look him up. Is he on Instagram?
Yes, Chip the Surgeon.
And he's a friend of yours?
Good friend of mine.
All right,
he cornered me against. Did he come out against Zalal? No, I think he was in my corner with Hooper. Is it Hooper? No, Hooper or Zalal. He's been in my corner. He's been a coach, corner, teammate. All around bad dude.
Well, tell him what a great guy I am, and see if he'll come do the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. The last question, and then you're going to promote whatever you like, because it's really about you, not about me. The last question is, I always ask every fighter this, because I think it's crucial for what you do, and it's a funny little thought. So my question is, if Bruce Lee were alive, he would blank, and I could give you an example, or you could just. Do you want an example, or?
If Bruce Lee was alive, he would fill in the blank.
Right. Yeah. So if Bruce Lee were alive, he would be on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's my example.
Yeah. If Bruce Lee were alive, he would have one of the top MMA schools in the country, because he was that entrepreneur motherfucker too. You know what I mean? He was always invested in trying to make money and whatnot. And if he saw the way that the sport was coming along and he hadn't, perished so young, I think he would have been ahead of the curve, because it was really him that like kind of kickstarted the idea of like mixing the martial arts.
He did. He did. He trained with a guy named Gene LaBelle. You probably know this. And he realized that the straight old-fashioned martial arts weren't going to work against certain things. So then he started combining them. And so he was that first thing. And his style is called Jeet Kune Do, which I'm sure you know. But
so I trained under Kru Mark Delagrati, who trained under Guru Guy Chase, who is one of the more renowned JKD practitioners.
How do you, I want to get into JKD because I'm asking you on the air, because I want to get into it because I have very bad back problems. So I like the way they use, there seems to be a lot of slicing of the legs. And
it's a Savat. That comes from the Savat.
Okay. Wow. You are knowledgeable. And
yeah,
that's why I like that. But is it effective? Like, meaning I'm a regular Joe. I live in Florida. I do have a concealed license. So I don't really worry too much.
I mean, Savat is one of the martial arts that was like developed and formed in street fighting, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And into that JKD, I mean, they pull in from Savat, they pull in, from Vietnamese knife fighting. There is influences from fencing. There's, I mean, if you really get into it, and I'm not the one to have the informed conversation. Maybe I'm a little more informed on this than you are, but like
you are.
My head coach, Mark Delagrati, he's, belted in like 8 or 9 disciplines that all flow into JKD as well. You know what I mean? So I know people that talk about this much better than I could, but I'm just giving you like the TV guide version of what's going on. But yeah.
The TV guide, is that even still around? You are.
I don't know, but that's because I'm fucking old. That's why I know that.
You're in your 30s, right?
Yeah, I'll be 35 in August.
See, I'm 46. So when I hear TV guide, I'm like, oh wow, this guy.
Or like the Reader's Digest version. Come on.
So you know what a record player is.
I was listening to a record not even a half hour ago when I was medicating before we got on this call.
Yeah. So really quick. So if you were a regular guy, because you're a trained killer, but if you're a regular guy like me, and you're like, you know what, I want to learn, but like I'm limited. Like I'm very limited in what I can do. I take prednisone to keep the pain down.
Jiu-jitsu. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, get in the gi. And do your research though. Don't just be like, oh, there's, Zen Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the corner, I'm just going to go there. You got to you can research the black belts and the lineage and where they got their black belts from. Everything's very like open source in that regard. Find the name, Google them. You'll find out who he got his black belt from, who he got his black belt from. And you kind of want to be able to trace the lineage. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have jiu-jitsu through a black belt lineage that you can't be any good, because Joe Lozon does not. Joe might have his black belt in the gi at this point, but Joe's a wizard on the ground, and he's been doing no gi his whole life, no gi grappling his whole life. Well, yeah, I'm just saying for you, if you definitely have like restrictive issues with your back, I think it would be safer because the gi jiu-jitsu is a lot slower. And then if you make sure that you're, with a vetted, trusted black belt, they won't have a problem limiting other members while going with you or creating plans for you because you have a limited approach. Like the first 3 years of me doing gi jiu-jitsu, I was training at Max Training Center under Mike Varner within the Phoenix Jiu-Jitsu community. And we had a guy by the name of Hal who was, he would call himself the handy-capable Marine, but he was driving back to base one night, got in a car accident, TBI, lost control of half of his body. He'd still get on the mat, get in the gi. If we were rolling with Hal, we would tie one of our arms into our belt and we'd have to start laying next to each other and have like and go with him and teach him the jiu-jitsu that he could use with his limited, resources. So if I could and he got his blue belt. So if I get a guy like Hal that can get his blue belt, you can get started regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that comes with finding a vetted black belt that has the ability and knowledge to address those situations appropriately and not just be like, oh, he's some other white belt, I don't care, like whatever, he's just a paycheck. You know what I mean? Because those gyms exist too. Like, we're just gonna sign you up. I don't give a fuck about you. Excuse me if you gotta bleep that out. I apologize.
No, I don't.
We don't give a fuck about you. We just want you to sign up. We want you to put down 6 months. We don't care if you come back. You know, those guys exist. So that's what I'm saying with, just do a little bit of your research, do your due diligence, and make sure you're in a good gym. I would say anything with a Gracie name on it, you're usually pretty safe.
Yeah.
Or anybody with a Gracie lineage, you're pretty safe. But there are other great lineages of black belts. So like, don't be shied away because you don't see a Gracie name somewhere at the academy. Those guys were just the originals, but there's many, many, many branches outside of that. But sorry, I'm giving you a long-winded answer.
Oh, keep going. No, I think when you see the name Gracie, even like if you say Gracie, everybody knows the name Gracie. It's kind of like everybody knows who Conor McGregor is, but your grandmother knows who Conor McGregor is. Everybody knows Gracie. So that's good advice. And I do hope you get into the public speaking and motivational stuff, because you're really good at it. And I could tell just by the way you were, talking there. But let me ask you, later on in your career, you're coming to an end, would you ever, because I'm so curious now about this stuff, it just looks so brutal to me, but would you ever do the bare knuckle?
Oh, for sure. That would be, I feel like bare knuckle would be a couple easy paychecks. We actually talked about it when I got released from the UFC, but with that timeline being even shorter, I think that I can always retire to bare knuckle.
That's what I think I'm seeing a lot of these UFC guys do. They're retiring, and like Jason Knight, and also there's a video of Jason Knight beating the crap out of two guys in a bathroom stall at the same time.
Either good or bad on him, but I'm sure it was impressive to watch.
No. I mean, he was close. Don't get me wrong. And to be honest with you, it was kind of his fault, but he did beat the hell out of these guys in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Good or bad on him, but that being aside, I'm sure it was impressive.
I mean, they backed him into a corner and he just fought backwards, and you just see him drop. And, he's an interesting guy, though. He has an accent too. He's got a different kind of accent. He's got more Latvias. But
okay.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. We talked about Bruce Lee. We talked about aliens.
Let me circle back around, right?
Yeah.
You had asked me about Cage Titans. I got this long-winded answer. You said, how can people watch? And I never got to that. So if people do want to watch,
yes,
because it's a sold-out show, they're doing a live pay-per-view stream from their website, CageTitansFC.com, Cage Titans Fight Club, or whatever, however you want to insert FC there. But CageTitansFC.com. On the home landing page, there'll be a clickable link to buy the stream. And if you're watching this podcast, because I'm on it, you're going to use the code SLIPPERY, and that's going to give me credit for you buying the stream. And like I said, Mike does everything above and beyond, and he's paying commission to the fighters who are bringing in the pay-per-view. So you put the fighter's code in. Every person that uses that code, that fighter's getting $5 from every stream purchased because of people watching them. So
well, that's
code SLIPPERY.
So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. We're going to end this, and then we're talking on Twitter. Slip me that information in the tweet so I could then put it in the description, because I want them to see that right away. Like, I want them to see that before they even hit the start button, and not have to wait, just in case maybe they stop watching in the middle. So I want to do that. So send that to me and I'll stick it in the description. Thank you so much, sir. I hope you have much success. We will talk again. I hope you start a school. I mean, because you guys got so much talent, so much, and you could take like what you do in fighting and put it to everything else. And
for sure, you got to find ways to monetize this lifestyle, or you're missing out on a huge opportunity.
That's why the guy like War Machine just makes me so sad, because he could have. But I knew, Vince Pichel.
Not offhand.
Okay, well, he was in the UFC. When he went to high school, he was a skater kid, he said. War Machine, whose name is John something or other, he was a jock, a roid head even back then, he said. And he had a lot of trauma as a kid. And so then, they both became, but different. And Vince is still in the UFC and War Machine's in prison. But
Right.
it makes me so sad because the guy could have, could have done so many other things, like everybody wants to talk to you guys, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things he could have done, but oh well. But thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you come back. And maybe we'll have you back on after you beat Mr. Zabin.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely link up next week and do a recap if you want.
All right, bro. Take care.
Have
Nice
a good
to
one.
meet you. Good luck.
You too, brother. Thank
All
you.
right, take care. Bye.